As educators and leaders, we must form positive narratives for our students as well as our team, and that's when our best work can be done. My pearl of wisdom today is the importance of positive student narratives. And to start, I'd like to tell you a story about a gifted and talented study that was conducted in the 1980s. An educational researcher spent time in classrooms and identified students who displayed special abilities that could be fostered further. After the researcher spent time in the classrooms, information was given to the school and the teachers about the names of the students who were identified. Over time, researchers followed up, and these students and teachers, and this is what they found. The students identified were seen in a different light than their other peers in their classroom. They received extra support, care, and belief beyond that given to their peers. They developed stronger relationships with their teachers and made greater impacts with their learning. The narratives, and therefore the perceptions of these students, were positively changed. But the truth was that this study was basically a placebo. The students were randomly selected, and not because of actual skills and dispositions, they were just selected. The major finding from the study was that narratives impact relationships, and therefore, at times, student achievement and learning. So today, I'd like to share with you my experience of the power of student narratives and how this study influenced me as a leader. As a grade 1 program leader, I see cohorts of students come through our program year after year. We dig in, we love them, and we teach them how to read, be inspired by books, empathize, make friends, and even tie their shoes. Every year, it seems we're faced with a fairly similar and predictable situation, which as a grade 1 leader, I know and I love. But last year was different. Like many schools, we were tasked with settling in a cohort of students who were greatly impacted by COVID. Many spent preschool and kinder online, and their experience was much different than we were used to. Not only that, this year, our student cohort grew from 80 students to 160 students. And as a team, we welcomed 5 new grade 1 teachers. A lot needed to be done, and before the school year began, I took a very direct approach to ensuring that the culture and foundation of our program was understood. Grade 1 had a system, and it worked. But after 1 week with our students, I realized how grade 1 usually works was far from the mark of what our students currently needed. It was the fallout of COVID, being isolated, and a lack of experience with social situations. These kids had the odds against them, and like a David and Goliath battle, our narrative was that we were going to champion them. But the reality for the teachers was that although they were championing, it was clear that these kids were struggling in so many areas. From following the group norms, building relationships, dealing with emotions, negotiating, and in some cases, motivation. Quickly, we shifted our conversations to not just pedagogy, but also fostering relationships, getting to know students and figuring out what puts the winds in every child's sail. We were faced with developing the foundations of lifelong skills before we could even get to the academics. The teachers were deep in the trenches and they were working hard. They were making gains, but they were also super stressed. And in this case, although so much greatness was happening, they were struggling to see beyond the needs. And as we do, they began sharing their experiences and their narratives with their colleagues. And that's when it happened. Rumor had it, grade 1 was a nightmare. A small group of extreme behaviors and the whole cohort was labeled as a problem. Grade 2 was getting pretty worried. The narrative was out and it wasn't good. So I pivoted. Grade 1 had a lot of work to do, but their story wasn't as bad as it had been made out to be. And I wanted these kids to have the best possible opportunity for success. I wanted them to have a positive narrative that they deserved. We were focusing on needs, but we needed to start talking about and recognizing strengths. And our students were kind, social, energetic, and becoming passionate and curious learners. With this awareness, I shifted my language and my narrative with my team to recognize the great improvements we were seeing in our students and the classes as a whole. In every conversation, staff meeting, and discussion, I made sure to take this stance. And I saw teachers' energy and dispositions change. They began to revel in the phenomenal growth that was happening, and they started to see their students in a different light. I'm proud to say, at the end of the year, every teacher walked away with a positive story to tell. So what I hope you take away from this pearl is, the power of the narrative not only drives vision and curriculum implementation, but it has the power to inspire, enthuse, and move people to action, both students and teachers. And in this case, the narrative allows teachers to embrace students' positive dispositions and trust that they are successfully developing along their own unique pathway. As educators and leaders, we must form positive narratives for our students as well as our team, and that's when our best work can be done. So how will you form positive narratives this year? Thank you.